Hare number 5, so she's turning out to be a really, really good little hare hawk. You see that was definitely not getting away at all. A little bit more sort of traditional hare hawking. We're in a line and just gently walking the field. So if we hit like any rape fields or bean fields or anything like that, we tend to sort of take it nice and steady, all in a line, and hopefully just flush the hares in the right direction. You can be walking like this and everybody else has walked straight past the one and there's one here. And then what they tend to do as well, you'll walk past them and they'll get up and run behind you. Everybody will get a turn at flying a hare, and hopefully we'll be in for a bit of success. So we've got at least 3 hares sat out in the field just below us here. So a few of us are going to head down this hedgerow and we're going to sweep the field and hopefully get the hares running back up here, sort of back up the hill towards us. So the wind is actually coming up the hill, so the wind will be in our favour. Normally we would try and avoid uphill flights, it's quite strenuous for them, but with the wind coming up the hill, it will give them a little bit of a boost to come up after them. So any volunteers of walking these up? The last flight didn't quite go according to plan. The hare got up from sort of just, I don't know, 20 yards away from us here, and we expected it to run straight across the field, and didn't. It completely double backed on us, ran up towards the rest of the followers that are stood at the top of the hill, and just completely outsmarted us and the eagle. But hey, that's hunting, that's how it goes. We can't predict where they're going to go every single time, so there we go. We can just show you there that we obviously spotted that hare with the thermal spotter, but by no means were we any closer to catching it. So that's the whole thermal spotter misconception just proven there. So we're now going to head up to the top of the hill and walk another field at the top that hopefully produces a few more hares than this one. We literally flushed one hare out of here and another 3 got up and ran off as we slipped the first one. So onwards and upwards.
So as you can see, this is quite a big field. So we're lining out down here, and then we have people lined up there. And we're just going to push this field and hopefully find some hares. It is Mike's slip. He's all the way down at the bottom. So yeah, keep tuned.
So the field today consists of 4 golden eagles and a Benelli's hawk eagle. Now Benelli's hawk eagles are from sort of Europe and sort of Eastern Asia. So they're a lot smaller than the golden eagle. Not very suited to our climate because they're from a much warmer climate, so we have to be very careful with them in the colder weather. But yeah, they do cope with it all right. But the golden eagles definitely cope with the colder weather much better than what the Benelli's does. But you should see some quite exciting flying from the Benelli's. They're very quick, very agile. Yeah, they can twist and turn with the hares when they're trying to jink and get out of the way. So hopefully it should be putting up some spectacular flights for us very shortly. The golden eagles naturally would be found in sort of the Scottish Highlands and sort of mountainous regions, and they've got a very long, broad wingspan used for, well, you can see that now, he's got the wind under his wings. They use the wind to literally glide around and soar around at great heights, sort of scanning the ground below them. Very similar to what the Benelli's would do, but the Benelli's is from a much warmer climate, so it would be using the warm air currents to actually glide and soar around. And they're very opportunistic, so anything that's underneath them, whether it be carrion or something that's a little bit slow or injured, yeah, that's easy pickings for them. Anything that's easy and they can have a big full crop at the end of the day and they've not had to work very hard for, they're very, very happy with. Obviously, you'll notice that all of us have got these little leather hoods on top of their heads. So basically, we walk around with these on all day. They're really comfortable to wear. When the eagles have got them on, they're nice and calm and relaxed. If we were to walk around with them unhooded all day, he can see things that are a mile in the distance quite easily. So he'll be able to see hares that are getting up 500 yards away. Now, we don't necessarily want him to chase those hares that are 500 yards away. We want him to chase the ones that we are intentionally flying. So the hood just prevents him from seeing things in the distance that we don't want him to be chasing. Also, if he could see them and we weren't letting him go at them, he'd be getting very stressed and unhappy. And so this just keeps everything nice and calm and relaxed for him until it's his turn to go again.
So to be fair, it's quite easy how I got into all this. Obviously, it came with the relationship. Henry had been breeding falcons and hunting for a good few years before we got together. When we first got together though, he was flying a goshawk. We then had a Benelli's hawk eagle, so like Mike's, we've got a female one of those that we used to hunt with. So we've been doing the eagles for maybe, might even be 6 seasons. And yeah, it's very different to flying. Well, I personally think it's very different to flying the hawks and stuff. People might have different perspectives on stuff, but I've always helped him. I've helped with the training, the manning, imprinting, and I tend to feed and look after them while he's at work. I'd probably say it's only been the last 3 seasons I've really got into the actual wanting to fly a bird myself and hunt myself, instead of just being his little sidekick. So yeah, I'm excited to get my bird going. Unfortunately, she's not quite fit enough yet to be out today, but yeah, after a good week of drag law training, hopefully next weekend.
Is that how long the training takes then, just a week?
So we train it every day in the week anyway, so we've had her for a couple of weeks now, so we've been working with the lots. So yeah, we're gonna get her on the drag law for the next week and try and build up her fitness and then see how she goes from there. So fingers crossed next week.
It was nice and calm when we started. So with it being so windy, it's nice to have topography which is quite hilly and sort of rolling nice hills. We can use the wind to our advantage, use a downhill flight into the wind where the bird's got most control flying into the wind. When you've got the wind behind you, it's like them opening a sail, they've hardly got any control whatsoever. So we're going to try and find a nice slope into the wind and use this really strong wind to our advantage, hopefully, with a bit of luck. Mike, if anything gets up now and you want to take it, because I'm not going to slip, because he will just literally find, if he misses, he'll go straight up there. So there's a hare where you are now, in line with that electricity pole. I'll flush it then, I've got the thermal. 10 yards. Ready, Mike? Ah!
So although we number slips and everyone has kind of a running order, the boys or girls are allowed to be selective. So if it is your slip and we go, so we've come into the rate field and it was Henry's slip, he decided not to have a slip in this field. So it then got passed over to Mike. So you can't see it on here, but Mike slipped his Benellis on a hare and he has actually caught down there. So when we go into the next field, it will go back to Henry's slip.
All of us have had one slip each. We've seen quite a few more hares than that. Oh, I mean, there was a point over there where we kicked up about 7 hares at once. So we're not out here decimating the hare population. I mean, we've had six flights and 1 successful so far. And yet we've seen probably 15 to 20 hares. So the hare numbers are safe. Mike's taking his time, letting her have a good feed, letting her know she's finished, she doesn't have to fly again, and basically just not rushing her. So he'll give her a good crop full of food. So the crop is basically where all the food goes before it's digested into the stomach, just the same as like a pheasant or a partridge. All birds of prey are the same. They have a crop and they get slowly digested over the 12 to 24 hours before they start feeding again. So birds of prey generally are gorge feeders, so they will literally eat as much as they possibly can in one sitting so that they don't have to do any more work for the next couple of days if possible. I mean, flying to them is a bit of a chore. It wastes energy, they're not successful every time, so it's really hard. So for a wild bird of prey, if they can literally gorge feed as much as they possibly can in one sitting, that suits them really, really well. So we tend to go hare hawking on a Saturday and a Sunday, and then a Monday it's hare pie. So we eat absolutely everything. And then I've got a Benelli's eagle at home, which tends to get the offcuts, so some of the legs and some of the heads and things like that. So yeah, nothing gets wasted at all. Right, that's it. Today could have gone a lot better, but no, actually it did go really well. I think the wind was slightly against us at times, and the sort of positioning that we're in when hares were breaking and so on and so on. Anyway, I've got a massive book with all my excuses in as to why we didn't catch any hares today. And so the only successful person today was Mike, so he did very, very well. Caught a fantastic hare with his Benellis. But yeah, overall, very, very good day. It's just a shame that we didn't catch a few more hares. We've certainly seen plenty and certainly scared plenty, but yeah, they live to fight another day. So no, thank you very much for coming along, guys, and thank you for filming the day. It's been absolutely fantastic having you. And yeah, hopefully we can do something, yeah, in a little bit, well, in a month's time or so. Wonderful. Thank you very much.